What if I told you that almost everything you're frantically chasing in your 20s is a trap? A perfectly disguised trap designed to steal your most precious asset. Not your money, but 10 golden years of your youth. You're scrolling through social media and an invisible scorecard appears before your eyes. Graduate with honors at 22. Get a stable job at 23. Get married at 26. Buy your first house at 28. Launch a successful startup before 30. And you? You're sitting here, maybe in a rented room, eating instant noodles, and feeling like the only loser in a world full of winners. You feel like you've been left behind, don't you? Here is the harsh truth, a truth that took me nearly 20 years of stumbling, paid for with mistakes, sleepless nights, and tears, to be able to say out loud. You are not falling behind. You're just playing by the wrong rules on a field that was designed for you to lose. Today, I'm not going to give you empty platitudes. I'm going to give you the real rulebook for this game. Lessons I wish someone had sat down and told me when I was your age. If you can grasp even half of what I'm about to say, you won't just save yourself 10 years. You'll build a life that, at 40 or 50, you'll look back on and smile, instead of saying the words, "What if?" So, close your other tabs, set aside your worries for a moment, and let's decode this game together. Lesson 1. Tear up the invisible scorecard. First, and most importantly, rip up that scorecard society is trying to hand you. That scorecard is a lie. It was created by people who want to sell you a dream, a pre-paved path that's safe but suffocating. It makes you believe that life is a straight line, a sprint where the first to cross the finish line wins. But life isn't a sprint. It's a cross-country marathon, through a dense fog. You don't even know exactly where the finish line is. Your 20s are not about checking off a pre-written list. They are a season of experimentation, of discovery. You don't need to have the answers. You need to be asking the questions. You don't need certainty. You need curiosity. I remember at 24, I quit a well-paying office job, to the shock of my family and friends. People said I was crazy. You have a stable job. Why would you give that up? But deep down, I felt like I was slowly dying. Every day that passed, I felt my soul being eroded by Excel spreadsheets and meaningless meetings. I did all sorts of jobs after that. I was a waiter, a freelance writer. I even tried to open a small coffee shop, and failed miserably. According to the social scorecard, I was a complete failure. But according to my own rulebook, I was collecting data. Waiting tables taught me how to communicate with all kinds of people. Writing taught me how to organize my thoughts. The failed coffee shop taught me about financial management, about marketing, and most importantly, about humility. Those experiences were not failures. They were the foundation. The most successful people I know, they weren't confident in their 20s. They were curious. They didn't follow a straight path. They took detours. They hit dead ends. Because they understood that growth isn't about reaching the destination. It's about what you learn along the way. So stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 on social media. Embrace the ambiguity. Get comfortable with being a nobody for a while, because when you're a nobody, you can become anybody. Lesson 2. Health, your irreplaceable capital. Now, let's talk about something that, in your 20s, you think you have an infinite supply of. Your health. You stay up late, you eat junk food, you drink alcohol like it's water, and you think you're invincible. You're proud of the fact you can grind for 3 days straight without sleep. I used to be like that too. I treated my body like a machine, and sleep was just a waste of time. Until one day, that machine went on strike. I was 28 years old, at the peak of a major project, and I collapsed, right there in the office. The diagnosis? Exhaustion and an anxiety disorder. I had to spend a week in the hospital, staring at the white ceiling and asking myself, what the hell am I doing with my life? In that moment, I realized a painful truth. All your ambitions, all your plans, all the money you make become meaningless if you don't have the health to enjoy them. Health isn't an option, it's the foundation of everything. Physical health and mental health are the two pillars of the house of your life. If one of them crumbles, the whole house will shake. Don't wait until you're 30 or 40 when your body starts sending you the invoices for the years of youthful neglect to start regretting it. Sleep. Treat sleep like the most important meeting of your day, one you absolutely cannot miss. 7 to 8 hours a night isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Eat real food. Your body is not a garbage can. Stop filling it with processed foods loaded with sugar and chemicals. Learn how to cook. Investing in high-quality food is the best investment you can make for your future. Move. You don't need to be a marathon runner. Just 30 minutes of walking a day, a few simple stretches. Treat your body like a trusted companion, not a slave. Face your mind. Mental health is not something to be ashamed of. Keep a journal. Meditate. Learn to say no. Seek help when you feel overwhelmed. Protecting your peace of mind is as important as locking your front door at night. Energy is not something you have. It's something you create, intentionally. If you don't make time for your wellness today, you will be forced to make time and money for your illness tomorrow. The choice is yours. Lesson 3. You are the architect, but don't build on sand. Find yourself. That might be the most useless piece of advice of all time. It makes you believe that your true self is some kind of buried treasure, and your job is to find the map. The truth is, you don't find yourself. You build yourself. The person you are today is the sum of your habits, your choices, the actions you repeat over and over again. You are the architect of your life. Every single day, you lay another brick. And here's the critical question. What is your foundation made of? So many people in their 20s build their identity on sand. The praise of others, the number of likes on social media, a job title, or a romantic relationship. And when those things disappear, and they will, their entire sense of self collapses. Build your identity on solid rock. What is that rock? Your core values. Honesty, kindness, perseverance, creativity. Identify the 3 to 5 values that matter most to you, and let them be the compass for every decision you make. When you act in alignment with your values, you will never feel truly lost. Your skills. Instead of obsessing over a title, obsess over your skills. Communication skills, problem-solving skills, financial literacy, the skill of learning new skills. A job can come and go, but your abilities will stay with you forever. Radical responsibility. Here's another harsh truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your partner, not the government. No one. The moment you stop blaming your circumstances, stop blaming other people, and take 100% responsibility for your own life, is the moment you gain real power. The pain of being stuck and blaming others is so much worse than the pain of effort and action. And you know what? When you take full responsibility, you give yourself the power to rewrite your story. You're no longer the victim, you're the hero. And that is a powerful role to play. Lesson 4. Failure is tuition. Regret is a lifelong debt. Thoughtful. In our 20s, we fear failure like the plague. Getting rejected, making a mistake, looking foolish in front of others. These are our nightmares. But now, at my age, I can tell you a secret. Failure is not your enemy. The fear of failure is your enemy. Think of it this way. Every mistake, every failure is you paying tuition for the university of life. The course might be expensive, but the lessons it provides are priceless. But regret for not even trying? That's a debt that never comes due, with an interest rate of self-torment and the question, what if? I started and failed at 3 businesses before I was 30. The first time, I lost almost all of my savings. I was ashamed, devastated, and thought I was useless. But looking back, those failures were my greatest teachers. Thoughtful. Failure number 1 taught me, passion isn't enough, you need to understand cash flow. Failure number 2 taught me, don't go into business with friends just because you're close. Partner with them because of compatible values and skills. Failure number 3 taught me, a great product doesn't sell itself. Marketing and sales are the lifeblood of a business. If I hadn't paid that tuition those 3 times, I never would have found the success that came later. Failure chiseled me, it sharpened my skills, and it gave me a resilience that no book could ever teach. So, go fail. Fail quickly, fail cheaply, and most importantly, learn from it. Ask that girl out. Apply for that job you think you're not qualified for. Start that YouTube channel. Write that blog. Learn that instrument. What's the worst that can happen? You get rejected? You're not very good at it? Who cares? In a year, no one else will remember. But you will have learned a lesson. It is far better to live a life with a few scars from trying than to have the smooth skin of regret. Lesson 5. Your circle, an elevator, or an anchor. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That saying isn't just true, it's a terrifyingly accurate prophecy. Your social circle will largely determine your future. They can be the elevator that takes you to new heights, or the anchor that sinks you to the bottom. Cuckolds, in our 20s, we often keep relationships out of habit, out of blind loyalty, or out of a fear of being alone. But you must learn to curate your circle ruthlessly, as if your future depends on it. Because, well, it does. Ask yourself the hard questions. Who is energizing me? After you see them, do you feel inspired, optimistic, and stronger? Or do you feel drained, negative, and full of doubt? Who is challenging me to grow? Do they encourage you to read more, to learn new things, to step out of your comfort zone? Or do they just want you to stay the same so they can feel comfortable? What are our conversations about? Ideas, goals, and opportunities? Or just complaints, gossip, and criticizing other people? I once had to make the painful decision to distance myself from my childhood friends. We used to be so close, but when I started talking about business, about self-development, they looked at me like I was a weirdo. They just wanted to hang out, drink, and complain about life. Leaving them behind wasn't easy, but it created the space for new people to enter my life. Mentors, like-minded friends, people who pushed me further than I could have ever gone on my own. Never underestimate the power of your environment. You can't soar with eagles if you only hang out with turkeys. Find people who have a bigger vision than you, who are more disciplined than you, and who are smarter than you. Be around them, learn from them, and you'll find yourself being lifted up without even realizing it. And remember, be kind to everyone. The people you meet on your way up are the same people you'll meet on your way down. Your network is built on sincerity, not on calculation. Lesson 6. Money is a tool, not the king. Let's talk about money, a topic that makes many people uncomfortable, but is critically important. In our 20s, we tend to have two extreme attitudes towards money. Either we look down on it, thinking money is fleeting, or we worship it, thinking that having money will solve all of our problems. Both are wrong. Money isn't good, and it isn't bad. It's a tool, an amplifier. If you're a good person, money will help you do more good things. If you're a jerk, money will help you become an even bigger jerk. And here is the biggest lesson about money I wish I had known sooner. Money doesn't bring happiness, but it does bring freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to say no, the freedom to pursue what you're truly passionate about without worrying about the bills. So, learn the rules of the money game, starting right now. You don't need to be a financial expert. You just need to master the basics. Spend less than you earn. This is the golden rule. It sounds simple, but 90% of people can't do it. Track your spending. Cut out the things you don't really need. Avoid bad debt like the plague. Credit card debt, consumer loans, these are the invisible chains that will bind you for years. If you must borrow, only borrow for assets that can generate value, like education or a business. Start investing today. Don't wait until you have more money. Start with the smallest amount you have. The power of compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Time is your best friend. Buy experiences, not things. The newest phone will be obsolete in a year, but that road trip with your friends, that new skills course, or that concert ticket to see your favorite artist, those memories and experiences will stay with you forever. Don't chase wealth to impress people you don't even like. Chase financial freedom so you can live a life completely on your own terms. Lesson 7. Discipline will take you places motivation can't reach. Thoughtful. Motivation is like a summer rain shower. It comes on fast, it's intense, but it disappears just as quickly. You watch an inspiring video and you're fired up, ready to change the world. But the next morning, when the alarm clock goes off, that fire has completely died out. That's why the most successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on something far more boring, but 1,000 times more powerful. Discipline. Discipline is doing what you know you have to do, even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline is going to the gym on a cold, rainy day. Discipline is writing 1,000 words a day, even when you have zero inspiration. Discipline is saying no to that piece of cake when you're trying to lose weight. Motivation is temporary. Habits are what last. Your life is not shaped by what you do when you're feeling inspired. It's shaped by what you do consistently when no one is watching. Stop waiting for inspiration. Start building systems and habits. Want to get in shape? Don't just think about it. Make a rule. Every morning when you wake up, the first thing you do is 10 push-ups. Just 10. Want to write a book? Don't wait for a great idea. Make a commitment. Write 300 words every day. Good or bad, just write. Want to learn a new language? Don't download 10 apps and let them sit there. Make a resolution. Spend 15 minutes with Duolingo every day during breakfast. Greatness doesn't come from a few massive actions. It comes from small habits repeated with extraordinary consistency. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your accomplishments. Build that bridge strong, one brick at a time, every single day. Lesson 8. The biggest decision of your life. Of all the decisions you will ever make, your career, where you live, your investments, there is one decision that will impact your happiness, your success, and your peace of mind more than all the others combined. That is, who you choose as your life partner. The person you choose to share your life with is not just a lover. They are your business partner in the company called Life Incorporated. They are your therapist when you break down. They are your career counselor when you feel stuck. They are your biggest cheerleader, and also your most honest critic. A good partner can double your strength and halve your sorrows. A bad partner can drain your energy, destroy your self-confidence, and pull you completely off your path. In our 20s, we often fall in love with our eyes and with fleeting emotions. But love alone is not enough to build a lasting relationship. Find someone who shares your core values. If you value growth, don't be with someone who only wants to stay put. If you crave honesty, don't accept someone who tells little white lies. Find someone who supports your dreams, even if they don't fully understand them. They don't have to participate, but they do have to believe in you. Find someone you can argue with, in a healthy way. Conflict is inevitable. The issue isn't whether you argue, but how you resolve that conflict and find your way back to each other afterward. And most importantly, become the person you want to attract. You want someone who is loyal, trustworthy, and ambitious? Then become that person yourself, first. Don't rush. It is far better to be happily single than to be miserably coupled with the wrong person. This decision is worth waiting for. It is worth being picky about, because it will shape almost everything else in your life. Lesson 9. Learn to sell, starting with yourself. I'm not a salesperson. I've heard this phrase 1,000 times, and it is one of the most dangerous, limiting beliefs you can have. The truth is, we are all selling something, every single day. When you interview for a job, you're selling your skills and your potential. When you convince your friends to see a certain movie, you're selling your idea. When you're on a date, you're selling who you are and what you stand for. In the 21st century, the most important skill isn't coding or data analysis. It's the ability to communicate persuasively. Learn how to write. Writing is thinking made visible on paper. A person who can write clearly is a person who can think clearly. Write emails, write a blog, write in a journal. It will sharpen your mind. Learn how to speak in public. It is a superpower. The ability to stand in front of a group of people and present your ideas with confidence will open doors you can't even imagine. Join a club, volunteer to give a presentation. Feel the fear, and then do it anyway. Learn how to negotiate. Life is a series of negotiations, from negotiating your salary to deciding where to go for dinner. You don't have to become a manipulator. The most effective selling comes from sincerity and the ability to understand the needs of others. When you can articulate your value and the value of your ideas clearly and with passion, you will become unstoppable. Lesson 10. The journey is the destination. And finally, this is the lesson that completely changed the way I see life. We live in a society that is obsessed with the destination, reaching the goal, getting to the top of the mountain. And we tell ourselves, when I achieve X, then I'll be happy. But Jim Carrey said it perfectly. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of, so they can see that it's not the answer. True happiness and true fulfillment is not found at the summit of the mountain. It's found in the climb itself. It's in the sweat, the scratches, the moments you wanted to give up but kept going. It's in the small victories, the bitter lessons, the friendships forged in hardship. We were born to struggle, to overcome challenges. When you reach the top of one mountain, you'll enjoy the view for a moment. But then, what's the next thing you want? A taller mountain to conquer. The journey is the destination. Right now, right here, this is it. So stop waiting for some perfect moment in the future. Enjoy the beautiful mess of the present. Fall in love with the process of building, the process of learning, the process of becoming. Dream big dreams, not because achieving them will make you happy, but because the process of chasing them will turn you into the person you were meant to be. 40, 50 years from now, when you look back on your life, you won't remember the amount of money in your bank account or the title on your business card. You will remember the sunsets you watched, the adventures you had, the people you laughed and cried with, and the times you bravely faced your fears. Your 20s are not a test. They are a playground, a chance to build a solid foundation for the rest of a life well lived. Don't waste it chasing someone else's scorecard. Write your own rules and start today.